never thought I would find myself here, sitting alone in the quiet of my apartment, feeling the weight of an entire lifetime of dreams and plans crumbling down. My name is Emily Carter, and I was married for 5 years to someone I thought I would grow old with, Alex. When I first met Alex, I was only 23 years old, fresh out of college, full of ambition and excitement about the future. I had never been in a serious relationship before, so when Alex walked into my life, I had no idea how much he would change everything. He was older, more experienced, and seemed like someone who could protect me from the world, someone who could guide me through life. He was charming, funny, and he made me feel safe in ways no one else ever had. I was drawn to him almost instantly. We met at a friend's party, and there was something about him that stood out. He wasn't the loudest in the room, but there was a quiet intensity in his eyes, a way he listened that made me feel like I was the only person in the world. When we started talking, it felt like everything else around us faded away. We just clicked. After a few months of dating, I knew I wanted to be with him forever. Alex felt like home to me. We moved in together, adopted a dog, and built a life that felt like it was meant to be. It wasn't always perfect, but I believed in us. I believed in the love we shared. But somewhere along the way, things changed. And it didn't happen all at once. It was gradual, like a slow leak that you don't notice until it's too late. Alex became more distant, more preoccupied. I found myself trying harder and harder to keep the spark alive. But no matter what I did, he seemed to pull away. I tried to talk to him about it, but he would always tell me it was just work, or that he was tired, or that nothing was wrong. Then, one night, everything fell apart. It was a Friday evening, and I had just gotten home from work. Alex wasn't there, but his car was in the driveway. I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. Something in my gut told me something was off. I decided to wait for him. I made dinner, set the table, and waited for him to come home. But the hours passed, and he didn't show up. By 10 p.m., I was starting to panic. I sent him another message asking if he was okay. No response. Finally, just as I was about to call the police, his phone rang. It wasn't his phone, though. It was a woman's voice on the other end. "Is this Emily?" she asked. My heart sank into my stomach. "Yes," I managed to say, my voice trembling. "Who is this?" She paused, then said, "I think you need to know that Alex and I are together. He's been seeing me for months." The room seemed to spin. I couldn't breathe. What? What are you talking about?" She went on to explain that she had been Alex's girlfriend for the past 6 months, that he had been lying to me, that everything between us had been a lie. The more she talked, the more the world around me crumbled. She told me things that I had never suspected, never even considered. I hung up the phone in a daze, feeling like the floor had been ripped out from under me. My mind raced, replaying everything I had ever known about Alex. How could this happen? How could I not have seen it? The love we shared, the future we had planned, all of it was a lie. When Alex finally came home hours later, I confronted him. The shock, the betrayal, it hit me all at once. He tried to explain himself, but the words didn't matter. He told me he didn't mean for it to happen, that he loved me, but he had found someone else. He begged me not to hate him. I could barely look at him. All the warmth I once felt for him had turned to ice. The man I had trusted, the man I had loved with all my heart, had shattered me in ways I never thought possible. He left that night, and just like that, I was alone. I spent the next few weeks in a fog of disbelief. I couldn't focus at work. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about how everything had fallen apart so quickly, how my entire life had been turned upside down in a single moment. I tried to reach out to my friends for support, but even their words felt hollow. No one could make me feel better. No one could take away the pain that gnawed at my insides. I was angry. So angry. At Alex. At myself for being so naive. At the woman who had stolen him from me. But mostly I was angry at the fact that love had never been enough. How could it not have been enough? After everything we had been through, after all the memories we had created, how could he just walk away? I spent a lot of time thinking about it, trying to make sense of what had happened. I replayed every argument, every late night, every time he said he was too tired or too busy to spend time with me. I tried to figure out where things had gone wrong, but in the end, I realized there was no answer. No explanation that would make it hurt any less. One evening, I decided to take a walk to clear my mind. As I walked through the park near my apartment, I saw a couple sitting on a bench, laughing and talking. They looked so happy, so in love. And for the first time since everything had fallen apart, I felt a pang of hope. Maybe someday, I could find that kind of happiness again. Maybe someday, I would learn to love myself again. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, I realized that it wasn't about finding someone else. It was about finding myself. I couldn't keep holding on to the past. I couldn't keep hoping that Alex would come back, that things would go back to the way they were. I had to let go. I started focusing on the things that made me happy again. I began going to the gym, spending time with my family, and re-establishing friendships that had fallen by the wayside during my marriage. I took up painting again, something I hadn't done in years. And slowly, I started to feel whole again. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. But with time, I began to understand something important. My happiness wasn't dependent on someone else. It never had been. I had spent so much time in that relationship, putting all my energy into loving someone else, that I had forgotten to love myself. A year after everything had ended, I met someone new. His name was Jack. He wasn't anything like Alex, and that was exactly what I needed. He was kind, patient, and he made me laugh in a way that felt like sunshine on a cloudy day. We took things slow, letting our friendship blossom before diving into anything deeper. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe without feeling like I was suffocating under the weight of my past. But even now, when I look back at my life with Alex, I don't regret it. I loved him deeply, and I learned a lot from our time together. But I also learned that love, no matter how strong, is never enough if it's not built on trust and respect. I learned that I am enough, with or without someone by my side. And even though Alex was the one who got away, I've learned to live my life without him. To love myself, to heal, and to move forward. And I know now that I deserve a love that's real, a love that won't leave when things get hard. So, I move on, with a heart full of hope and a life full of possibilities. Did you like today's story? So, leave your like and subscribe to continue watching the channel's videos. Until the next story.